Hello, friends. This is Dave Hurwitz, executive editor at ClassicsToday.com, here with random reviews from the Overflow room. Kerbongo. And we're continuing our march backwards through the alphabet with Handel. We're still in Handel Town. Handel House, whatever you want to call it. Oh, I've got some very interesting pieces. We're going to hit some of the more unusual or lesser known Handel operas and oratorios and things like that. And, you know, one of the things about Handel is that he's always Handelian. In other words, even when he's not at his best, he's really worth listening to because there's just lots of good music. You know, he kind of took the all-encompassing approach that if he writes enough, he's got to have some good stuff in there somewhere, and he did, and it really worked. So let's talk about Riccardo Primo, King of England. Yeah, Riccardo Primo is an opera that he composed around 1726-27 for the Royal Academy, and it was, you know, designed sort of as a homage to George II, who was crowned in that period. And we've got a really good cast. Sarah Mingardo is Riccardo Primo. That was the castrato Senesino. And he also had in his company the two rival prima donna, you know, Francesca Cuzzoni and Faustina Bordoni. Faustina would marry Adolf Hasse, and they became a huge power couple. The Hasse-Bordoni axis, if you want to call it that. Anyway, and, you know, they really are fine, and the plot is unbelievably stupid, but the instrumentation is really, really interesting in this particular opera. You've got, let's see, what have we got here? Let me tell you what it is. 2 oboes, bassoon, piccolo, flute, alto flute, 3 trumpets, 2 horns, 2 chalumeau, which is a prototypical clarinet, timpani, harpsichord, and strings. So that's pretty cool. I mean, it's a colorful score with some really good songs in it, and I enjoy it. I mean, you know, once every few years or so, and you might well too. It's got a lot of arias. What can I tell you? Oh, the plot is so stupid. What happens is it has nothing to do really with Richard I. He's waiting for his bride to arrive from Spain, and he's never seen her, of course, and she gets shipwrecked, and she winds up on some island ruled by so-and-so who wants his daughter to marry Riccardo, and everyone's disguised as everybody else. And then hearing that she's been shipwrecked, Riccardo shows up disguised as an ambassador from Riccardo because no one's seen anybody. And the typical entanglements ensue. It's just absurd. But fun to listen to. I mean, you know, there's lots of good music in there. Then we've got the Concerti Grossi Opus 6 with the Avicen Ensemble under Pavo Beznusiuk on Lynn Records. Very, very well recorded. The ensemble itself has always struck me as a little anemic in sonority because these are grand concertos and they can take a lot of juice in their string tone, but they're light and lively and fresh performances and certainly worth hanging on to and listening to occasionally. So that's there. Then we've got Joshua. Joshua's terrific. You know, Joshua's got the Battle of Jericho and the walls come a-tumbling down, and it's got the sun stuck in the sky, and it's got war trumpets, and it's one of the war oratorios, you know, the ones that are about battles. And it's very, very exciting. The characterization is minimal. It's about Handel building up these big scenarios, you know, with massed forces. And it's just terrific. And this is a wonderful performance with Emma Kirkby and James Bowman, countertenor, John Mark Ainsley, Michael George, Aidan Oliver, with the King's Consort and Robert King, the choir of New College, Oxford. I mean, this was a really good series of Handel oratorios, aside from James Bowman, who tries. I mean, he tries. It's just the wrong voice, you know. It's just the wrong sound, but that's okay. I mean, you know, they're really, really fun, and I just, you know, I mean, you know, the big scenes are terrific. Absolutely terrific. So this is very enjoyable. I mean, Robert King put a lot of, you know, red blood cells into his Handel conducting, and it's just terrific. Also terrific is this sucker. This is the occasional oratorio. It doesn't tell you anything about the plot. And this isn't the occasional oratorio. I have that coming up, don't I? Where's the? Oh, there it is. Next video. Sorry. Anyway, Joseph and his brethren. Now, Joseph and his brethren, this is with Yvonne Kenny, James Bowman, Catherine Denley, Michael George, the usual people, John Mark Ainsley, and Robert King again. This is widely considered to be the worst of all of Handel's oratorios. And you can kind of understand why. I mean, nothing happens of any note. And it's really sort of a patchwork. And even in Handel's day, people made fun of the libretto. There's, all kinds of silliness going on in the word setting. But, if you're collecting Handel oratorios, you got to have this one. At some point, you've got to have it, and you'll have to just deal with it. Like all of Handel's oratorios, it has good music in it. Whether it succeeds as an entity, that's something musicologists can, rend their garments and tear their hair out over. But again, it's part of that series that it was Robert King, pardon me, did for Hyperion, and it was a great series. So it has its place. And then we've got the opera here on Vox, the first recording of Imeneo, with John Ostendorf, Julianne Baird, Donna Fortunato, Beverly Hoch, Jan Opelach, and Rudolph Palmer with the Brewer Chamber Orchestra on period instruments. There was a whole bunch of Handel recordings on Vox with these forces, and it was very brave of them to undertake these performances, and they're fun. I mean, they're fun. There are two arias. Imeneo contains two arias in their original versions, which would reappear in Messiah. Yes, why do the nations and the people that walked in darkness? Plus quotations from many other celebrated scores. So yeah, I mean, it's not long. I'm not sure if this is uncut, but it's 2 hours basically, a little less in 3 acts. So it's not one of Handel's big productions. You know what I mean? And it's fun to encounter. And so those are aside from the Concerti Grossi, it's all fairly rare off the beaten path Handel stuff. And Handel is fun to explore when he's off the beaten path. So, you have some time, give it a shot, see what you think. And keep on listening, friends. Thanks for joining me. Take care.